All right. Welcome back to a Rare Breed podcast. My name is Avi, the host. This is
Jake.
Jake, and I have with me my female. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, Starla.
Yeah, there you go.
I was waiting for you to say it.
Sorry. all right. So my first question is for both of you, and I want you guys to kind of like answer separately. I don't really want anyone to talk over each other because that shit sucks. But
Well, he
yeah,
could
so
go
the first
first.
question is how long have you been single? Ladies
Am I
first, of
going
course,
first?
obviously.
Am I going first or
Yeah,
him?
ladies
Sorry.
first.
Oh, okay. I have been single for almost 2 years.
Is
Two
it
years in
hard?
August.
I'm assuming it's hard to be single in today's day and age.
Mm, it's not that bad.
No?
Like I want a partner, of course, but I don't know. It doesn't seem as bad as dating some people sometimes with my experience.
What about you?
I would agree. I mean, I think it just got normal, is the word I would use. And like having kids kind of fills in that void.
What do you think? Having kids, does that make it more difficult to date? Obviously.
Hmm. Yeah, because you just don't have as much time as some other people. So even trying to build a connection, like I have weekends sometimes. So I don't have just like any time I could go out and go on dates and meet people.
So how do you make that time?
Plan, plan ahead.
Yeah, but even I'm assuming even plans don't work out, especially when you have kids, right?
Yeah, sometimes if I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but I haven't dated like a ton. So I'll like have little moments that I'll date and then I stop usually.
I feel like that's kind of the norm nowadays. Like, you'll kind of, I don't know, I know with me, like, I'll meet someone and it's fun and everything, but like after a little while, it's like it stops being fun.
So do you guys like is it just like conversations? You just have conversations with people and then it's I mean, cuz I feel like as a single parent, you wouldn't even really be able to do the normal dating thing like, where you get to go out
Mhm.
all the time and see each other all the time and the hookups like are you going to hook up on the first date or the second date? You basically have to wait till like a month or months down the road, right?
Yeah, like I don't know, for me, it's kind of funny because I'm on a few different dating apps and rarely go on them, but I'll go on them every like few months and then I'll find a couple of people I'm like interested in. And then I'll go on a couple dates and then usually I'm like over it and I'm like, okay, I'm done dating for a while.
So is it like an attention span? It's like an attention span
Yeah.
is what it comes down to, right?
I'm like, maybe I'm ready to date. And then I'm always like, no, I'm not actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard. Like I hate texting and nowadays like that's how everybody talks and communicates. So I'm it's probably like I don't respond a lot. I've
You're
like
awful. I'm not gonna lie, you're terrible.
yeah, I have a lot I'm like the worst texter. I hate it. I'm like call me. Just call and like most people don't want to call. So
See, and I will always call, but I'm always like, well, nobody likes phone calls, so I don't call people. But I always call. I
Yeah.
always call because I'm like, I would rather sit there and talk.
Hmm.
me too. Like, it's okay, like, I don't mind texting sometimes, but I just get busy and I forget, like, I'll open a text and then I get busy with life or
I'm the
I
same way.
mean, honestly, even sometimes I just don't even wanna respond. Like, I'm like, No, thanks. I'm just want to chill. Like I'm just always so busy. So sometimes I like don't want to be on my phone texting.
I feel that 100%. I do that a lot. Like there's times like I'll see people's texts and I'm just like, not right now. Like I'm just doing my own thing.
Mhm.
Or, like she said, there's just so much going on that you're just like, I don't have the time to deal with that, or even like think about dealing with it.
I feel like the way you guys make it sounds like, I mean, it does sound like, I mean, somebody really has to capture your attention, right? Like at
Yeah.
this point, somebody really has to capture your attention. So what would
Mhm.
capture your attention?
For me, like good conversation, because that's one thing is a lot of like texts are so like dry. Like I hate when people say WYD. I'm like, can't you just spell it out? It really bothers me. Like, what are you doing? I guess is what it is. So like WYD and like just stupid, like it's not like nothing like interesting. So I don't know, like a good conversation, someone who's like willing to actually like make plans and like I'm not always the one who has to like plan something and like makes effort, I guess.
So I guess what are things that you would do on a date if you were going on a date?
Um I don't know, like go to dinner, go to coffee, like a movie, just any typical like an arcade. I went on a date to an arcade and that was really fun. I don't sometimes I don't mind to, like, go to a bar, but it just depends. Like, sometimes I don't wanna, like, go out for drinks. I have to feel comfortable with that person. What
What are
about
you
you?
doing on dates?
Basically the same thing. I mean, it's kind of hard to go out on dates nowadays because like a lot of people just, I don't know, you take them out and then they get either like awkward or it's just like a run around thing. And like a lot of places nowadays that we used to use for dates, like they aren't used for like date spots anymore. So you get a bunch of like stupid like teenagers or like, I don't know. It's just the atmosphere of the like whole place makes the date just seem kind of like not interesting.
Well, I feel like a lot of women, maybe it's not just women, but I feel like a lot of women usually expect
So
like
much.
the red carpet laid out, you know? Like they're
I've seen
expecting
that.
to spend like hundreds of dollars on the
Yeah.
first date, and it's like, wait a minute,
Mhm.
I don't even know you.
Yeah. And you gotta like, make sure you talk about the right stuff or like just kind of know the room because I mean on like especially first dates, like you can make or break it within a few words. I mean, they're already judging you mostly just by like where you take them and what you guys are doing and how much you're spending. And then like if you can't get that like intellectual conversation out, then like they're like, yeah, no, this dude's a loser. Like this, oh, I don't know why I even told
Mhm.
myself this would halfway be decent. And it doesn't help that a lot of dudes are tools and they've made just like the view of, I mean, men in general just not good. Because like a lot of people basically just if they see a man they already think skeptical of you because of all the like just stupid and
Yeah.
horrendous shit men have done all throughout history and shit. So now they're like, oh my god, it's a man. Like, it's kind of like she was saying. She has to feel comfortable like going to a bar with a man because you can't trust anybody. They might put something in your drink or something like that, and she's just trying to go have a good time. And next thing you know, shit's 10 ways from south. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
true.
hard, at least as a man in the dating world, because we're already judged so much. And if we do one little wrong thing, females are like, fuck this guy.
That's true. I feel so bad for dudes, man. Fuck. But I
Well,
also
No,
feel bad.
I agree. Like I feel like there's like pros and cons for men and women. Like because I have seen that a lot. Like a lot of women want like create like before when they were saying you can't go to Cheesecake Factory or and all that. I'm like Cheesecake Factory is like a good restaurant. Like what the heck's wrong with that? And like I personally I was just having this conversation the other day actually and I was telling someone like I prefer on like a first date, I don't want anything like super crazy. Like I'd rather just go for like coffee or something simple. That way, if it we don't hit it off, we're not there for like a 5 course meal or and then
Yeah.
I don't feel like guilty. Like I don't expect like I mean, okay, I will say like I'm not someone who wants to pay like 50-50 and stuff on a date. Like I like to be treated like a lady and like but also I don't expect someone to be spending like hundreds of dollars on me and then we don't even click and like it's weird and I just rather would do something simple and easy and then that way if we don't click like then it's fine and he's not expecting that's one thing like I don't want someone to be expecting something because they spent like $200 on me. You know?
Yeah, I feel like
So,
most dudes, if they're gonna spend $200, they're like, "What are you gonna put out?"
Mhm.
yeah,
I feel like
which I'm like, "No,
I feel like
not."
most people nowadays already feel like that. Like I've talked to so many dudes that are like, "Oh, I'm going on a first date," and like they're expecting something to happen at the end, and I'm just like, "You really know this girl? Like, how do you like? Why do you think she's gonna put out just because you're going on a first date?" And I mean, I know like on the female side, there has been a lot of females that have basically, I guess, manifested that thought for men of like, "Oh, it's a given to do it on the first date," but
Yeah.
like they don't take the time to get to know the person, and they just like both sides are expecting, and I think that's why like a lot of the times things may not work out. People won't click because in the back of their mind they're both expecting, and they're not really like in it trying to like learn that person in a date. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like, man, I don't know. I feel like women, they, I mean, back in the day, women, for me anyway, I don't know if this is the same, but women used to throw themselves at me. And now I feel like women don't throw themselves at anybody anymore, right? Like, that's just, it doesn't happen that way anymore. And I'm telling you, like, women used to throw themselves at me back in the day.
Mm.
And I don't think that would happen today.
I hear the opposite actually from a lot of like guys. I hear that women are like a lot like men nowadays and they're the ones who want to like do stuff right away and
Like
but I don't know. I don't know how like true that is, but
I honestly,
I've heard that a lot actually.
I would say from like experience and stuff, I think that's kind of true. Like the you're getting more females like coming at the guys and like basically hitting on the guys or like asking the guys for numbers or asking them on dates and stuff. Where the guys are like, you know, doing their own thing and whatever, and like there's like guys kind of stopped pursuing the female and like the roles switched almost.
Yeah, and that brings me back to that Sex in the City. Samantha. Samantha started that trend. Have you ever seen Sex in the City?
I haven't.
Oh, what
Which
the
is
fuck?
horrible for me. Like, I thought about watching it, but yeah, I've never seen it.
Oh man. I'm not gonna say it's a great show. It's not great, but it's fucking hilarious sometimes. And for this episode, it's really insightful. But to think about it, like, perspective wise, Samantha from that show started that whole trend because she literally is like, throughout the entire show, she's like, well, if men can do it, I can do it. And I want to do
Mhm.
what men do. If men can use me for sex, then I'm going to use men for sex. And that's
She's the
literally,
blonde lady, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like like bleach blonde.
Yeah, she's the slut, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that, like, it was women like that that started that whole, I guess, ideology for dating. Like, women were like, well, if they're gonna use me that way, then I'm gonna use them that way, you know?
Yeah. Which for me, I'm like, I think nobody should be like using anybody, but I get why like I feel like it's like a trauma response. Like you get hurt so many times, so you become the person who's like hurting someone.
I guess.
But But for
I
me, I'm like,
guess.
whatever. I just think like I don't know. I try not to like shame people for like stuff they want to do. Of course, if you're like out hurting someone, but I'm like, if you're an adult and you're consenting, like, who cares?
Yeah. So, so what are some red flags for you?
Mm, I'm like lying, obviously.
Obviously. No, I'm just
Obviously lying. Um, there's a lot of people who aren't single who are like in the dating world. And there's, I don't know, just lying, cheating, just all the typical red flags, I guess. I don't know.
what are red flags for you?
I would probably like a big one would be like the vocabulary they use, because a lot of chicks nowadays like to use that new like language that they have going around, and I just think it makes them sound stupid or like illiterate. Like instead of
Like
using normal
slang or
words,
something?
yeah, like instead of having like just a regular like normal like I guess sophisticated conversation, they're using all the slang terms nowadays, and just I don't know. Certain slang terms are all right to me, but just consistently or like talking to me in person, like we're texting.
Yeah.
That
Well, I mean, you do say bet a lot,
yeah,
so can't be that judgmental.
I
I'm
guess
just
yeah.
kidding. I'm such an asshole. I'm sorry.
I just thought of one. I just thought of a red flag, actually. Men who like constantly tear down like the women that they've dated before or their exes.
Mm.
I feel like that's like always like a red flag.
Yeah, they're like, my ex is crazy. She's such a psycho bitch.
Yeah.
But,
I'm
in
like, why?
I mean, at least from my perspective, I like I don't know.
You
Men
have every right to call your
Yeah, but
ex
if-
psycho. I'm just
I
saying.
get that, but if I was like trying to date someone or like getting back in that pool and trying to like meet someone, I don't even think I would bring up past relationships.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the past, and like you're trying to build new relationships and build new things, and like there's no reason to talk about the past. Now, I might bring my ex up once, just be like, this did happen. I do. She is the mother of my child. Like she may, you know, be here or there because I have to, give my child to her and I pick my child up from her and stuff. But I'm not gonna like sit there and badmouth her the whole time and like talk about every little thing she did to me, because like that's in the past, and like
Yeah.
I mean there's no need to badmouth her. I mean, but a lot of guys do like to do that. Like even if they're not like bad mouthing them, some dudes get like they'll start talking
Just
like
talking.
about how great their ex was or how, and you're just like the female doesn't want to hear that. Like she's trying to like get to know you. She's like she's not trying to learn about like what you did in the past or who you dated. And like you like numbers sometimes do like are kind of important, because you don't want someone that's sleeping with 400 dudes. But I
Right.
mean, I don't need to know like how rough your last relationship was, or like like we're trying to learn each other, not exes and everything.
It's true. It's true. What are green flags for you?
Mm, I think like good communication. Um,
What is communication to you? Like, hey, I'm stopping at the bar on the way home, or like,
well,
like,
I think it like depends on where you're at in the dating. Like if it's just you're about to meet for like a first date, just like being, which I'm bad at this. Like I
yeah.
said, I don't text I'm not like a great texter. Well, not always. I've been doing good with it right now. But like just communicating well, like I mean, depending on what level you're on, like keeping conversation going and um just being honest about what you want in a relationship, what you're looking for,
Yeah, that is a big plus. I mean, if you're
being
not even
single, being
yeah,
single is a big one.
I feel so bad for you. I feel so bad for you. So I asked her a bunch of questions before, and she was saying that she had gone on like a few dates where these men were married, and it's like,
Oh,
damn,
crazy.
Yeah.
it's so fucked up. I
That was
mean,
like my
that's like the
first
shit
like
you see in
5
movies.
dates were all married.
Oh god.
Separated but married. But I'm like, mm,
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, is separated. So separated is like it's still like a red flag for you.
well, not always. It just depends. Like, but I feel like if you're not giving that information before, like, I found out during the date or after the date from
Absolutely.
all of these men that they're married.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Nice.
and one of them even lied to me and like said he was divorced
Oof.
and then came clean on the date. And I was like, and then he tried to blame me, like, tried to turn it around on me. And because I was like, well, we're not gonna talk anymore. Like, and I've known him for a long time, so it was a little bit different. Like, but I was like, we're not gonna talk anymore. And then he tried to turn it on me and tell me I hurt him and all kinds of weird stuff. And yeah, I was like, you're married. And he lied to me. So
Oh man. God. I can't even
mhm.
imagine. Like, I mean, in my past, I've been an asshole, right? Like, I've been an asshole in my past for sure. But like, I couldn't imagine doing that to someone that I loved, right? Like, I love my wife right now. I could never imagine like hurting her like that, right? So like to think about like all these dudes that are just like fuck it, right? Like fuck it, I'm married, fuck my wife, you know?
I think
I
that's
think they really are separated, but also like if you're not going to be together, then get a divorce. And if you but and why are you even like dating if you're still in that like
Yeah.
middle ground? I just think that anyways.
I think a lot of dudes and even maybe females nowadays have like lost the thought or like idea of what love is, and that's why it's so messed up, and like why dudes and or women will do that to their spouse or significant other, because I feel like we down the road like went from like traditional love to lust, and
Yeah.
everyone just basically changed lust to love, and that's why it's so outrageous and ass backwards, is because they're like lusting all these people and not actually loving them, and that like in terms of like allows them to feel okay with, oh, I'm just gonna go, have this one night stand. My wife will never know or whatever, is because they're not actually like thinking of like true love. They're lusting their partner, and that like a lot of marriages I feel like are based off of that, and that's why a lot of them don't work, or a lot of people get divorced or do sleep with their spouses, is because of the confusion of love and lust.
Well, when you talk about lust like that, it kind of just makes me think like I mean, especially my generation, we grew up on porn,
Yeah,
right? Like porn was a big deal, and it's I feel like that honestly it influenced a lot of society, both female and male, into like going in that one direction when it came to relationships, right? It wasn't about love. Like people weren't looking for the notebook style love stories anymore. They were looking for the Pornhub style relationship, you know? That's what I feel like happened. I feel
yeah,
like porn kind of took over everybody's mindset when it came to relationships, maybe?
And social media, I think.
Yeah.
Like social media makes it just easy. Like there's so much temptation and I mean, there's like websites that are specifically for cheating. There's like apps where you can hide stuff. There's a lot of different stuff that makes it easy for people to cheat and do stuff like that. But also, like, social media just makes it like you feel like so many people want you, and there's so much temptation and different things that make it probably hard, especially if you're in a like a or like a long-term relationship where you're not sleeping together all the time like how you once were probably, and you're not like like a lot of long-term relationships, like they don't keep that like spark and fire alive. So when you're getting attention from somebody else online or on Facebook because you posted a picture or whatever,
Yeah.
it just makes it like way harder, I feel like, for people to stay faithful.
Well, right. And then you've got like, these social media platforms like TikTok, for instance, where you've got, I mean, there are women that have like millions of followers on there and they have to entertain them if they want to get money or they want to keep them. And then
Mm-hmm.
you've got to compete with, my girlfriend's a fucking TikTok star. So now I have to wait until she's done with her fucking TikToks. Like, it's just crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like I've seen the relationships completely crumble like from just TikTok,
Mhm.
right? Like they get together on TikTok and then they break up on TikTok and you're just watching it all.
Yeah, TikTok is crazy with all
Yeah.
that. I actually went on a date with a guy from TikTok.
Shut up, tell me about it.
It was really I really liked him, so it kind of sucked because he was just a weirdo. And
Ooh.
we went to a concert and it was like okay, but I don't know, he kept like trying to kiss me and he was just being really weird. Like I think he was drunk when I got there. So he was like all over me and I was like, what the heck, dude?
On the first date?
Hmm. And I had been talking to him for a while. Like, he used to go live a lot and like, I don't know. I like met a lot of people on TikTok through him. We used to have Zooms and stuff. And yeah, he was weird. After that, I stopped talking to him and we like unfollowed each other on TikTok.
Have you ever met anyone on one of those social media things? Or is it just dating apps?
I don't even use dating apps.
No?
I don't like them. I don't trust them. I mean, I feel like half of the people are fake, and it's
Yeah.
just I don't know. At least on the guy side, like I know like for the females, like it's not as difficult because there's guys out there.
There's a lot. There's a
Yeah,
lot of catfishes.
yeah, definitely
Yeah.
a lot of catfishes. But like I don't know, I don't trust online dating. Like I don't know. I was raised by like people with that older fashioned love and like going out and actually meeting someone in person and stuff. So I don't like to use social media and everything because I feel like that's just I don't need that kind of attention. Even with my social media now, I barely even post anything about my life on there.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
stupid stuff. So because I don't unless like people are important enough, I don't feel like I need to share my life to the world.
True that. True that. So how long do you typically wait to have sex with your interest?
I mean, I think it depends on a lot of things. Like my daughter's dad, we slept together pretty quickly. But I also knew him since like elementary school. So it
Right,
just,
and you didn't have kids at that time, so
well, I had my oldest daughter.
oh,
I've
okay.
I have two baby daddies, but
Oh,
yeah. Um, so like my oldest daughter, I was with her dad through like high school, lost my virginity to him and everything. And then my, yeah, my youngest daughter, her dad and I, like, we slept together really quickly. But now I definitely tend to wait, and just because I don't want to like end up in like a friends with benefits type of situation, because that just doesn't interest me. And it's if people like doing that and whatever, I really don't judge, but for me, like, I don't want that. So I just typically wait for a while until I mean, it's like right now, with dating, the purpose is to find someone. So yeah, I
What
just
about
just
you?
wait.
I think it really depends on just everything. Like, I mean, I've always typically not liked to jump right into things because I feel like that early on in like trying to date or like into like trying to make a relationship, I feel like sex usually ends up breaking it, not making it. Because people either get too attached or it's not what they thought, or like the feelings just change completely and like
Or it escalates and like you don't even know
escalates,
each
yes.
other and it's
So
like toxic.
yeah, and I feel like it's smarter to wait because if you learn the person first and like you like build that connection between like just you guys and your personalities and how they click or may not click, or similarities or differences, or stuff like that. And then after that, I feel like once you kind of get to know them better and you move to that next level, then you can kind of open the doors for sleeping together or whatever, because you've gained that almost like in a sense like a intimate feeling for each other just by getting to know each other without having to get intimate. So it makes the intimacy feel more like
More intense.
euphoric in a
Yeah.
in a way after you like get past those steps.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. I appreciate you guys for taking this time. What time is it? Yeah, it's fucking 9 o'clock. Oh my
Is
god.
it?
I appreciate you for taking the time and having the conversation with me.
I want to say I appreciate you because if it wasn't for you, I would have never found this awesome shirt.
Did you see his shirt?
No. What does it say?
Says I
Is
heart
it?
hot moms.
Oh, I love hot moms.
Yeah.
I see a lot of like teen boys at like my daughter's school wearing shirts like that. I'm like, what in the heck?
They did sell
MILF
it
is
at
like
Zoomies.
the in thing.
Mhm. But, yeah, this was interesting. It was
I
good to
wonder.
kind of get the other side's perspective.
Yeah, yeah. Appreciate you so much for taking the time. I know that you're like a crazy busy mom over there. And I appreciate you for taking the time coming to hang out.
Yeah, anytime.
I know, I wish I could have been there.
Yeah, it would have been cool, but there's always future episodes. We can always do something else.
Yeah. Yeah, but
We
no,
like to talk
it
about politics, right?
yeah, well, I don't know if I used to be super like into politics and now I kind of like shy away from it because I argued too much and now I'm just like, I don't care what you think and I don't care what you believe. Like, just leave me alone and let me live my life and you live your life.
Yeah. I did
That's my
forget to
feeling.
ask you. So, politics is a big deal for you, right? When it comes to dating.
Yeah, for me, like, I mean, to an extent, like, I wouldn't want to date someone who I have like no common beliefs in. Like, for the most part, I'd like to agree on like the important things that are important to me.
So, like, I mean, and I already know your political side. So, like, if you had some, you know, gosh, I don't want to say anything without like being offensive, but like blue-haired, sensitive Sally, you probably wouldn't be interested in someone like that.
I don't think I would be interested in someone who's like extreme on either side. I'm very much in the middle and like politically, I believe and disagree with things on both sides, like very passionately on both sides. So I wouldn't want to, like, I personally just wouldn't want to be with anyone who just is extreme on either side.
What about somebody who's completely oblivious?
I feel like I would prefer that because then I could like teach them about the stuff that
Oh
I care about.
no.
And then, like, because I have like I've talked to and kind of dated people who like aren't really who don't really care that much. And I'm like, okay, like I'll tell them certain things that I care about and like talk to them, and then they start caring, a little bit more, or they like at least see my point of like why I believe the things I do.
Yeah, yeah. That's my wife all the way. She hates that I'm so political, but she's like, "You do you, boo boo."
I used to be really like, I think it just gave me a lot of anxiety and stuff because I used to like go to the Capitol a lot and like protest, and I testified like through different like bills and stuff. But now I'm just like, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't want to date someone who has like way different beliefs than me, because that would just cause like issues.
I mean, what are your like?
I mean, I'm kind of in the middle too. I feel like both sides have good points and corrupt points and just horrible points. I mean, so it's kind of hard to say like, oh, like I'd rather pick this one than that one. And like, there's a lot of people like, believe it or not, out there that are just oblivious to it. And
I
like,
know.
I mean, it does have some play in like my relationship, but uh, other than kind of just like I like to stay up, like kind of know about it just so I know what's going on in the world and like what is going to affect me and what might not even affect me and stuff. But other than that, like when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, like it doesn't have that much effect on my life.
Yeah, for the most part, it's out of everybody's control. I mean,
Yeah,
unless
like
you.
no matter what I think or feel, like
Mhm.
it's not gonna change the difference. So I
Yeah,
see
what
it.
can you do? Like, what can you do with so much of the stuff we know about? And, like, of course, you can, like, prepare for certain things and just, watch out for certain things. But at the end of the day, like, what can we do to, like, stress and it to have such an impact on our lives? Like, I hate that politics, like, when they really affect our everyday life. Like,
Yeah, I
during
don't.
COVID, where it was everywhere, it's like you can't escape it anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
I don't like that, it gives me anxiety.
Yeah. So and I feel like a lot of it is just like a smaller picture to hide the bigger picture, and I don't like that because then it starts making me think about a bunch of different crazy stuff that could be happening that might not be happening, and it just like throws me into like that. Like she's
Blood
like
pressure
anxiety,
rises.
like yeah, loop because you don't know what's true, what's not, what you should believe, what you shouldn't believe,
Yeah, you don't know what's true.
and it's like the gears just start overworking.
Yeah. Can't bring up politics, man. Just
That's
should
when
never bring up
I'll get
politics.
lost in like a conspiracy loop and
Yeah.
just start like, oh
I'm like a huge conspiracy theorist and I like to talk about it, like, but it could get like really ugly, and that's the kind of like discussions I try to stay out of. If you could have like a friendly conversation and just talk about it because it's interesting
Yeah.
and stuff. And I've learned a lot from people who like disagree with me, you know? So it's good to have like open communication with it, but I don't know. I have it on, I think on all my dating like pages I have something about me being a conspiracy theorist. So that's almost always what they're like, what's the craziest conspiracy? I'm like, you're not even ready to go down this rabbit hole actually. So I'm like, the government's poisoning us.
Right? I'm all,
yeah,
you want to go down a rabbit hole? I could take you down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm like, let's not get too deep into this, I guess.
Talk about all of the unelected branches of government, shall we?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's a lot of crazy stuff with like politics. And yeah, I am like, it's probably not that great, but I'm kind of like I look into stuff sometimes, but a lot of times I'm like, I don't have the desire as much as I used to.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I have too much
exhausting.
to worry about.
It's exhausting. It
Mhm,
takes a lot
but
out
once
of
I
you.
get started, I'm like, I don't stop.
Yep. Yep. Happens. Those rabbit holes, man.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you have a great evening. I
You
appreciate you.
too. I'm so sorry it took forever to
That's
get
all
me
good.
here.
It's all good. I appreciate you, and at least we got it. We got some good question, and we got some good conversation. It was really
No.
nice.
I know, it was. Yeah, it
It
was
was
cool.
fun. We're gonna have to do like a conspiracy theory episode
most
because this fucker's got some crazy conspiracy
We
theories that
should.
I got
We
some that
actually
literally
so
make me
should.
stop and
I would
think.
totally, like, be down for that.
yeah, we'll have to do
I think
that.
that'd be a good podcast episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. That would be so fun.
All right, well, you better start getting your conspiracy theories ready then.
You know what? You should have like a panel, like a little panel, and because I know somebody else who would be so like good for that too.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Hell yeah, let's do it.
Actually, you would so love her. She's very like she like has a lot of the same beliefs as you, I'm sure.
See, there you go. I mean, I always want to have
Me
conversations
too.
with people. So,
Mhm.
like, I mean, because I always tell my wife, like, I don't get to have these conversations with people I want to, like, I want to have all of the conversations. So,
I know, me too.
so we'll have to
Yeah.
do
I
it.
think it would be fun.
Yeah, and you'll have to get me in contact with your friend.
Yes, I will. I will. And she actually has a podcast too.
Oh,
Perfect.
sweet. See, there you go.
You guys can like be on each other's.
All right. Well, you thank you.
Well,
Have a good night. Be
I
careful.
know. Thank you. It's nice to meet you also, and good to see you.
Yeah.
All
Bye.
right. Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning into this fun episode. It was a lot of fun. It's not perfect, nobody's perfect, but it was a lot of fun and I really do want to have more episodes where I get to talk to people, interact with people, have conversations. It's the best part about doing this podcast is I mean, not only do I get to ramble on, right? But I get to have conversations with people when I want to. So, yeah, stay tuned for future episodes. I do plan on having one with a lesbian shortly. Here shortly. I plan on having an episode with a lesbian that's like me. She thinks like me for the most part. It'll be a lot of fun to kind of dive into what's going on in the gay community and really dive into politics. I want to have a politics conversation with someone. Let's do it. Stay tuned.